You've probably seen them 1,000 times. Those gray, uneven stones sitting under train tracks. They look like leftover gravel, the kind you'd spread on a driveway. But if you were to pull them away and leave the rails sitting on bare ground, the entire system would fail in a matter of weeks. It sounds extreme, but it's true. The stones aren't there by accident. They aren't cheap filler. They're actually one of the most important parts of how trains move at high speeds without shaking themselves apart. And the real reason they work so well has nothing to do with the stones themselves. It's about what they do to the space between them. Think about what's actually happening down there. A freight train can easily weigh 10,000 tons. All of that force funnels down through narrow steel rails. If those rails just rested on dirt or a solid slab, the pressure would be impossible to manage. The ground would compress unevenly. One section would sink, while another stayed high. Within a few passes, the track would warp. That's why engineers don't lay rails directly on the earth. They build a buffer. The crushed rock spreads that massive weight outward, pushing the force down into a much wider area of soil. It's like putting a wide wooden plank under a narrow chair leg on soft grass. Suddenly, the pressure isn't digging in anymore. It's being shared across a whole foundation instead of a single thin line. But weight is only half the problem. Trains don't just press down, they pound. Every wheel joint, every slight bend in the metal, every change in speed sends a shockwave straight through the track. If you've ever stood on a platform when a fast train rushes by, you feel it in your shoes. That shaking would slowly crack any rigid foundation. Concrete sounds solid until it doesn't. Stone, on the other hand, is deliberately loose. The pieces are crushed to have sharp, rough edges so they lock together, but they're not cemented. When a train rolls over them, the stones shift just a fraction of an inch. That tiny movement is doing the heavy lifting. It absorbs the impact, turning violent vibrations into quiet, harmless motion. The track stays level because the stones give way just enough to catch the energy and let it dissipate into the ground. Then there's the part nobody thinks about until it rains. Water is the silent enemy of any railway. If moisture gets trapped under the tracks, it turns soil into mud, softens the foundation, and makes everything shift. You might think a solid concrete base would solve that, but it does the opposite. Concrete traps water. Dirt holds onto it. The stone layer does something completely different. Because the rocks don't sit flush against each other, they leave thousands of tiny gaps. Those gaps act like a built-in drainage system. Rain hits the track, slips through the ties, and flows straight down through the stones, moving away from the rails before it can pool or freeze. In cold climates, that's what stops the ground from heaving when ice expands. The track doesn't need pumps or complex pipes. The stones handle it naturally. And there's another layer to how they work that keeps the track from sliding sideways. When a train takes a curve at speed, the force tries to push the rails outward. Without something to resist that slide, the track would slowly splay. The crushed stone matrix grips the wooden or concrete ties from the sides, locking everything into a rigid line. But it's not permanently fixed. That's the clever part. Over years of use, even the best-laid track settles unevenly. If it were poured in concrete, fixing it would mean breaking everything and starting over. With this stone system, maintenance crews just roll a machine over the rocks, lift the track back to the right height, and pack them back into place. It's designed to be reset. It's built for correction, not permanence. Now imagine taking them away completely. Leave the rails on bare earth, and you'll see exactly why they're non-negotiable. The soil would churn into a slurry. The ties would sink at different rates. The rails would bend. Trains would have to slow to a crawl just to stay on the line, and even then, the ride would be violently rough. Speed isn't just about the engine. It's about what's underneath. These rocks allow modern trains to run at hundreds of miles per hour while staying smooth enough that you could balance a coin on a window ledge. They're the reason safety checks don't have to happen every single day. They buy the system time, stability, and predictability. It's easy to assume we'd swap them out for something modern by now. Engineers actually have tried. There are slab tracks made of reinforced concrete used on some high-speed lines, and they work in specific places. But they cost significantly more, they crack harder to repair, and they don't handle shifting ground well. The stone system is cheap, adaptable, and self-correcting. It's been refined for over a century, not because we lack better materials, but because nothing else balances cost, performance, and ease of repair quite like it. Sometimes the simplest solution wins because it outlasts the complex ones. Next time you're on a train, pay attention to the sound. That steady rhythmic hum isn't just steel rolling over steel. It's millions of small rocks shifting, draining, absorbing, and holding the line underneath. They don't get attention. They don't need to. They just do exactly what they were placed there to do, quietly keeping tons of moving metal aligned and safe. You probably never noticed them until now. But once you see how they work, it's hard not to realize how much of the modern world relies on pieces of crushed rock we walk past every day without a second thought. The hidden reason trains don't shake themselves apart isn't in the engine or the rails. It's right beneath them, doing the work no one sees.